Sigma males are known for their non-conformist, lone wolf personality. They are independent, liberated, self-sufficient free spirits who are capable of bringing value to their own lives without needing external validation from others. They choose to live life outside of the social hierarchy, despite being in a position of power and at the top of it. Even with all these impressive qualities, the Sigma male is still human and isn't exempt from weird, odd and sometimes downright crazy behaviors. Welcome to the Sibros channel. Please help me grow the channel by subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I appreciate. Here are 6 crazy things Sigma males do. 1. He sometimes hides his emotions. Men hiding their feelings isn't a new phenomenon by any stretch, but it certainly is kind of a crazy thing that they do, especially when they can be a little hypocritical when it comes to showing vulnerability. While a Sigma male appreciates maturity, and those who show their feelings, it doesn't mean he necessarily plays by the same rules. The Sigma male is likely to have experienced pain, trauma or loss in his life, perhaps from an early age, which makes it difficult for him to be vulnerable and to show his emotions easily. We know that the Sigma male lives outside of the social hierarchy, and doesn't care for social customs and expectations, but that doesn't mean he hasn't been affected by them. Society teaches boys that they shouldn't show their emotions, that it makes them weak or less of a man. Although he is more likely to show his emotions due to his disregard for what society dictates is correct male behavior, he still finds himself at times hiding his emotions, especially in front of people he doesn't know all that well. 2. He sends short texts. Now this is something that drives women crazy especially, but one of the weird things that a Sigma male does is send infuriatingly short text messages. Sigma males don't care at all for social media, so you can pretty much forget receiving DMs on Instagram, but even when it comes to a simple text message he will be annoyingly curt and blunt. This isn't anything that the person on the receiving end should take personally though. The Sigma male simply doesn't have time or energy for communicating at length through text, and if he needs to talk to someone, he will do it in person or make a phone call. He is a solitary creature and highly values his time alone, so if he has been bothered by someone enough that he feels he has to respond to their message, then he will do so, but very bluntly. This could be as short as a K, which to most people is maddening. But do you think the Sigma male cares? Of course not. He has better things to do with his time and energy than worry about people's reactions to a short text message. Aren't there more important things to be concerned about in life? Like yelling at the PlayStation, for example. 3. He abides by the 5-second rule. Have you ever heard of the 5-second rule? Chances are if you're a male, then you probably have. One of the wonderfully weird and crazy things that the Sigma does in times of disaster is that he is a strong believer in the 5-second rule. As an example, imagine that he's eating his lunch and is suddenly startled by something or someone, which makes him drop his delicious sandwich on the floor. What do you think will happen? Any normal person would assume he puts it in the bin. But this is the Sigma male we are talking about. Of course, he doesn't throw it away, as long as it's been on the ground for less than 5 seconds, of course. This is the defined time window where he considers it safe to pick up food or cutlery after it has been on the floor without it being contaminated by bacteria or dirt. This food hygiene myth makes total sense to a Sigma male, and dare we say, males in general. 4. He gets naked when he can get away with it. Being naked at certain times of the day isn't the craziest idea, but the Sigma male is a rare breed of man and will get naked at any point that he deems it safe to do so. When he has the house to himself, he loves nothing more than to wander around in his birthday suit, doing all the normal things one would do in the house. Cleaning, washing clothes, vacuuming, dusting. If he can do it stark naked, then he will. Although he has to be careful with cooking, after all, bare skin and hot oil sounds like a recipe for disaster. The Sigma male is all about freedom and being true to himself, so it's no wonder that he enjoys being naked so much. But what if he gets caught in the nude by a poor unsuspecting neighbor who happened to walk past his window at the wrong moment? Or what if his housemate comes home early from a work trip? While the Sigma male wouldn't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable intentionally, he also couldn't care less about other people's opinions of him unless it stops him from achieving what he wants in life, so that's their problem. 5. He has a good cry to de-stress. Yes, he can hide his emotions at times, preferring to hide his vulnerability from people he doesn't know that well, but the Sigma male is a sensitive guy who is in touch with his feelings even if he doesn't always show them. He knows that it's okay to cry and that it is sometimes necessary to deal with the stresses of life. While it isn't crazy for a man to cry, for some men such as the alpha male it can seem like a very strange thing, especially when you consider how similar the Sigma male is to the alpha. To other people, the Sigma male comes across as a pillar of strength who most of the time acts pretty aloof and mysterious, so people can be very surprised to learn that the Sigma male is so in touch with his sensitive side. He will happily let himself have a good cry when he needs to let out feelings and tension. He knows that this is much healthier than leaving things bottled up ready to explode in an uncontrollable and potentially harmful way, so he will allow himself a good cry to de-stress and reboot. However, just like the rest of us mortals, he still finds it more preferable to do this alone in the privacy of his own home instead of at something like a social gathering. He is still human, and a man after all, so wants to live with his pride intact as much as possible. But due to his flagrant disregard for people's judgment of him, if he does happen to break down in public, then as far as he is concerned it is what it is, and he wouldn't give it a second thought. When all is said and done, the only opinion that matters is his own, and he is a man who lives by his beliefs. 6. He yells at video games. It's no secret that guys love playing video games in their spare time, and the Sigma male is no different. It's a way that many men like to unwind and de-stress after a long day. While this isn't crazy in itself, the crazy thing he does when he's playing makes him sound insane to anyone who happens to walk past his room while he's in the middle of a Call of Duty battle. He might be different to other men in many ways, but the Sigma male still has an ego, and when a game isn't going to plan, his ego will tell him that his teammates are at fault for the impending loss. Or if he's playing solo, his ego will blame him. So, he will need to let off steam, which he does by shouting. He doesn't yell because he is angry, but because his ego is stepping in as a defense mechanism. It is trying to protect him from emotional pain, so will try to redirect his negative feelings towards other players wherever possible. Yelling can also have a soothing effect on the Sigma male when he's feeling frustrated within the game. It's a bit like his version of scream therapy. He might sound crazy, but really, he's just having a good time.